Hey everyone, and welcome back to Wealth, Health, and Truth. Today, we're diving into a fascinating aspect of American politics: independent and third-party voters. With growing dissatisfaction towards the two major parties, more Americans are choosing to identify as independent or align with third parties. Their growing numbers signify a potential shift in the political landscape. So, buckle up as we explore the rise of the independents and their potential impact on American politics. For decades, the American political landscape has been dominated by two major players, the Democrats and the Republicans. This two-party system has, in many ways, shaped the way Americans engage with politics. However, this system has also drawn its fair share of criticism. Many argue that it limits voter choice, stifles diverse political discourse, and fosters a climate of partisan gridlock. This dissatisfaction has led to a growing number of Americans feeling politically homeless, unrepresented by either of the two dominant parties. They crave alternatives, fresh perspectives, and a political system that better reflects the diversity of their opinions. To understand the rise of independent voters, we need to delve into the historical roots of the two-party system itself. The United States wasn't always a two-party nation. In fact, the very idea of political parties was initially met with suspicion by the Founding Fathers. However, it didn't take long for political factions to emerge, coalescing around differing visions for the new nation. The Federalists, led by Alexander Hamilton, championed a strong central government and a focus on commerce. On the other hand, the Democratic Republicans, spearheaded by Thomas Jefferson, favored a more decentralized government with an emphasis on agrarian interests. This early political divide laid the groundwork for the two-party system we know today. The two-party system, once established, became deeply ingrained in American politics, creating a self-perpetuating cycle that made it difficult for alternative parties to gain a foothold. This entrenchment is due to a number of factors, including the winner-take-all nature of U.S. elections. In most elections, the candidate with the most votes wins, even if they don't secure a majority. This system disincentivizes voting for third-party candidates, as many voters feel their vote is wasted if their preferred candidate has little chance of winning. Furthermore, the two major parties have, over time, established a firm grip on the electoral process, from campaign finance to ballot access laws. The media landscape also plays a role, often focusing primarily on the two major parties and their candidates, limiting exposure for third-party alternatives. Despite the hurdles, third parties have played a significant role throughout American history, often injecting new ideas into the political discourse and challenging the status quo. From the Populist Party of the late 19th century to the Progressive Party of the early 20th century, third parties have championed various causes and pushed the major parties to address neglected issues. However, these parties often face an uphill battle. Limited resources, difficulty securing media attention, and the perception of being spoilers in elections make it challenging for them to gain traction. So, where are these independent and third-party voters concentrated? Which states are leading the way in breaking free from the two-party mold? Let's take a look at the data. According to recent studies, a significant portion of the American electorate now identifies as independent, often surpassing registered Democrats or Republicans in several states. States in the Northeast and West Coast, traditionally known for their more liberal leanings, are seeing some of the highest numbers of independent voters. However, the trend is not limited to these regions, with a growing number of independents emerging in states across the political spectrum. Now let's zoom in on a few states that stand out as bastions of independent voters: Maine, Vermont, and Alaska. These states consistently rank among those with the highest percentages of unaffiliated voters, showcasing a unique political culture. Maine, known for its independent spirit, boasts a long history of third-party and independent candidates finding success in elections. Similarly, Vermont, with its strong tradition of civic engagement and grassroots activism, has cultivated a political environment where independent voices are valued and amplified. Alaskans, too, have shown a strong preference for independent candidates, often opting for individuals who represent their unique needs and concerns over party platforms. While Maine, Vermont, and Alaska stand out, the surge in independent voters is not limited to these states. Across the country, even in states considered traditional strongholds for the two major parties, a growing number of voters are choosing to forego party affiliation. In states like Colorado and Arizona, which have historically leaned Republican, the influx of independent voters has contributed to a more competitive political environment. This shift in the electorate highlights the evolving nature of American politics and the potential for independent voters to reshape the political landscape in the years to come. The rise of independent and third-party voters begs the question, what impact are they having on elections? Are they merely a statistical anomaly, or can they truly sway the outcome of local, state, and even national elections? On the one hand, independent voters, by their very nature, are a diverse group with a wide range of political views. They don't necessarily vote as a bloc, and their preferences can vary significantly depending on the candidates and issues at stake. This unpredictability makes them a wild card in elections, capable of swinging the vote in unexpected directions. On the other hand, their growing numbers mean they can no longer be ignored by candidates or parties. In an increasingly polarized political climate, where elections are often won by slim margins, courting the independent vote has become crucial. This dynamic can lead to more nuanced campaigns that focus on specific issues, rather than solely relying on partisan rhetoric. To understand the potential impact of independent voters, let's revisit Maine, a state known for its independent streak. Maine has a long history of electing independent candidates to office, from governors to senators, demonstrating that a break from the two-party system can translate into real political power. Angus King, Maine's current independent senator, serves as a prime example. King, who previously served as Maine's governor as an independent, has carved out a unique path in the Senate, often caucusing with Democrats but maintaining his independence on key issues. His success highlights the appeal of candidates who prioritize pragmatism over partisanship, particularly in states with a strong, independent streak. Maine's electoral history provides valuable insights into the potential influence of independent voters. It demonstrates that in certain contexts, voters are willing to look beyond party labels and elect candidates who they believe will best represent their interests. While the impact of independent voters is perhaps most evident in local and state elections, their influence is also being felt on the national stage. In recent presidential elections, the independent vote has played a crucial role in determining the outcome, particularly in key swing states. Candidates who have successfully courted independent voters, often by focusing on issues that resonate beyond partisan lines, have gained a significant advantage. Conversely, those who have failed to connect with this critical voting bloc have found themselves at a disadvantage. The growing number of independent voters has also forced the two major parties to reconsider their strategies, prompting them to reach beyond their base and address a broader range of concerns. As the number of independent voters continues to rise, their influence on national elections is likely to become even more pronounced. The rise of independent and third-party voters represents more than just a shift in voter registration numbers. It reflects a deeper trend of dissatisfaction with the status quo of American politics. Many Americans, disillusioned by partisan gridlock, feel unrepresented by the two major parties and are seeking alternative avenues for political participation. This growing movement of independent-minded voters has the potential to be a catalyst for change, pushing the political system towards greater responsiveness and accountability. As their numbers grow, so too does their potential to disrupt traditional power structures and demand a more representative and responsive government. Whether this potential for change will be realized remains to be seen. However, one thing is clear: the growing ranks of independent and third-party voters represent a powerful force in American politics, one that cannot be ignored. Why are so many Americans turning away from the two major parties? A key factor is the growing disillusionment with the state of American politics. Many voters, regardless of where they fall on the political spectrum, express a deep sense of frustration with partisan gridlock, political polarization, and a perceived lack of progress on critical issues. The two major parties, often seen as more focused on scoring political points than finding common ground, have left many voters feeling unheard and unrepresented. This sentiment is particularly strong among younger generations who have grown up witnessing the limitations and often dysfunctional nature of the two-party system. The rise of social media has also played a role, amplifying partisan divisions and creating echo chambers where individuals are primarily exposed to information that reinforces their existing beliefs. This constant barrage of partisan rhetoric can further alienate voters, pushing them away from the two major parties and towards a more independent stance. As this disillusionment with the two-party system grows, so too does the appeal of candidates and movements that promise a break from the status quo. The rise of independent voters is also intertwined with the emergence of new social movements and changing cultural attitudes. In recent years, the United States has witnessed a surge in activism and advocacy around a wide range of issues, from climate change and social justice to economic inequality and healthcare reform. These movements, often fueled by grassroots energy and a desire for systemic change, have energized a new generation of voters who are less tethered to traditional party allegiances and more focused on specific issues and policy solutions. They are less likely to blindly follow party lines and more inclined to support candidates who align with their values and priorities, regardless of party affiliation. This shift in political engagement has created a more fluid and dynamic political landscape. Looking ahead, demographic trends suggest that the rise of independent voters is not a passing fad, but rather a long-term shift in the American electorate. Millennials and Generation Z, two of the largest and most diverse generations in American history, are significantly more likely than older generations to identify as independent. These younger voters, shaped by a different set of experiences and perspectives, are less likely to view party affiliation as a core part of their identity. They are more pragmatic in their political outlook, less beholden to traditional party platforms, and more open to candidates and ideas that challenge the status quo. As these generations age and become a larger share of the electorate, their independent streak is likely to have a profound impact on American politics. The future of American politics may very well be shaped by voters who prioritize pragmatism over partisanship and who demand a political system that is more responsive, representative, and accountable to the needs of all Americans. The rise of independent and third-party voters reflects a fundamental aspect of the American spirit, a commitment to individual liberty, a willingness to challenge the status quo, and a belief in the power of diverse perspectives. This independent spirit has shaped the nation's political and social landscape. From the early days of the Republic, when the Founding Fathers were wary of political factions, to the present day, where many Americans feel unrepresented by the two major parties. The growing ranks of independent voters call for a more responsive, representative government. Their presence reminds us that the two-party system can evolve to reflect the changing needs of the American people. The rise of independent and third-party voters has sparked a vital conversation about the future of American politics. It's a conversation that demands our attention and engagement. Whether Democrat, Republican, Green, Libertarian, or Independent, your voice matters in shaping our democracy. Share your thoughts on the rise of independent voters. What changes would you like to see in our political system? Engage in respectful dialogue and learn from each other's perspectives. A healthy democracy thrives on active participation. Your voice has the power to shape the future of our nation. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the rise of independent and third-party voters in America. We hope you found this discussion informative and thought-provoking. At Wealth, Health, and Truth, we are committed to providing you with the insights and information you need to navigate the complexities of our world and make informed decisions about your life. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, please show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. By subscribing, you'll be among the first to know about our latest videos covering a wide range of topics, from finance and economics to health and wellness to politics and current events. We believe that knowledge is power, and we strive to empower you with the information you need to live a healthier, wealthier, and more fulfilling life. Join us on this journey of discovery and growth. Together we can strive for a brighter future, and remember, at Wealth, Health and Truth, we've what you want.